So welcome to Eger in Hungary, and this is the elite men's third, fourth place playoff. Great Britain in the black, going from left to right. Australia, the current world champions. Well, I suppose that you can keep calling them that until about 4 hours time, when New Zealand or France will lift that title. Great match between Australia and France yesterday, an absolute cracker. And although the goals were few, it was 0-0 after full time, and it took 2 penalty goals in extra time, and then France finally scored a goal. There was some brilliant play from both teams, absolutely superb defence, twice from the Australian defence. Great Britain gave everything they had against New Zealand. We'll go to the surface here, and it was pretty nip and tuck in the early stages of the match. In the end, New Zealand ran out. I think it was 6-2 winners. I haven't actually double-checked the scoreline, but talking to a couple of the GB team, and they were saying that really they were just pushing hard to try and get the goal, and took a few too many risks, and in the end, New Zealand opened up the gaps and ran away comfortable winners. But the match was much tighter than the scoreline suggests. Here's a chance for Australia, though, coming through, and Great Britain just one player back. Australia puts it across, surely they must score here. We're looking across on the surface. The goal is being agreed. All 3 referees say it's a goal, and Australia goes straight down the middle. Not so much beauty about that one. That was just straight force down the middle, straight through the GB defence. Blake Sutcliffe, the goal scorer, number 7 for Australia. And of course this is for the bronze medal. GB have actually had a good morning in the pool. They've played 3 third, fourth place playoffs and won all of them so far. So there's going to be a few GB flags on the awards ceremony later on today, which we'll be bringing to you straight after the men's final, of course. We're going to have a illegal use of a free arm by an Australian. Bit of an elbow to something a little bit soft on the GB side, and GB push into the Australian half. We are live here. It's 11:30 in the morning. We've already been here for about five hours, and we have a stoppage in play. So here we go. Australia pushed down towards the GB goal again. Into the corner, and that's a lovely little flick by GB. That was a good flick completely. Diedrich Engelbrecht takes it up down the line. Australia cut it off in mid-court and pile on the pressure again, and Australia very dangerous in centre of court. We've seen this time to time. There's none of this fancy stuff around the edges or up against the wall. Australia like going route one straight down the middle, and look at this, they've got 2-on-1, and it's a goal for Australia. Simple as. Why bother going round the edges? It's another straightforward goal, straight through the middle, and they open up GB. I was going to say like a heart surgeon. It's not a very nice thought to have on a Sunday morning or Saturday morning here, but they completely opened up the GB defence, and a few of the GB. There's going to be a timeout here. GB are taking a timeout, and I think the GB team, if we can have a look at the Great Britain team opposite, they're all looking a little bit shell-shocked there. I don't think they expect to be opened up as easily as that. I'll just have a little look at them there, and there's a couple of slumped shoulders. We've only had sort of 5 or 6 minutes, and already Australia 2-0 up. The current world champions for at least another 4 hours. And there's a few slaps on backs on the GB side. The Australian side looking very businesslike here. They've just had an incredibly tough match against France yesterday. Of course, both teams gave it all yesterday, so there may be a bit of squad selection. Maybe a couple of reserve players have come in as well for the last match of the tournament. But the first quarter is gone, and Australia already comfortably ahead 2-0. Both of them straight directly down the middle. In fact, when these two played in the round robin, we saw very similar as well there. Australia don't hang around much. Here we are, bringing out into the open side already. Nice to see our moving camera follow the action as well, thanks to Nathan Peel and his emergency bag from England. If you don't know, all our motors got pretty well swamped on day 0. As they go to the far side, unfortunately a little bit of dirt started to kick up in the pool. It was absolutely crystal clear this morning, but the sun doesn't help either. Australia are trying to push it down the wall a little bit, but GB are a strong team themselves. There's no mugs in these games. Every player on this pool is a very strong underwater hockey player. GB try and move it inside, but Australia cut that off. So far GB haven't had an attack on goal. And we've got an advantage being played, so we'll carry on. Australia have the puck. No need to stop the play if Australia have it. Up against the open side. GB's Engelbrecht's trying to cover that, and there's a tussle there between Luke Rector and Graham Fletcher of Great Britain, number 11 and 2, and Australia win that. Australia just on the edge, will go to the surface. And it's probably a good call for Great Britain as well, because that one looks as if it was going to go. An illegal handling by GB as well, so Australia probably won't be too chuffed with that, because they were looking as if they were through to a 2-on-1 on goal. The official called that just as the break happened, and GB probably consider themselves a little bit lucky here. Here we go, everybody's on the floor, there's nobody on the surface. 12 bodies on the floor. And that puck is very close, we're going to get a call. And it's gone GB's way. Illegal use of the free arm. And a little bit of respite for GB. Well, it has been good. In fact, one of the things that's been noticeable about this event is that there's been so many strong teams here. There's been a lot of good teams that have really stepped up to the plate, and of course, you know, there's also teams that have dropped away a little bit in times, and it's got to be said, it's been a disappointing tournament for some of the Canadian teams. But this is how underwater hockey goes. We've had some great matches, even quarterfinal. New Zealand-Turkey was an absolute cracker. And Great Britain moving in here. They've got an extra man in the centre, but Australia cover him away. Great Britain move it down the left-hand side of the tray, looking to try and creep in there, but it's taken away by Australia. Nicely done indeed. Great Britain win it back up into the corner. Australia will be used to defending this corner. Oh, the puck's come in. Great Britain have a great chance here. And it's gone into the tray. It's a goal for Great Britain. Oh, that was fast play from Great Britain, and this match is back on. The puck was up into the corner, and it got flicked across into the centre on the left side of the tray, and then there was a second flick that was almost instantaneous, and that caught the Aussies out. They weren't expecting such a quick second flick in, and suddenly the puck was in front of goal, and it was Anthony Bailey, number 4 for GB, who was in front of the goal, who put it into the tray. So 2-1, game is back on. Well, this is going to be interesting. I know, a shout out to everybody at the Tower Hotel in Melbourne who's watching this. Hope you're hello to everybody at the Tower Hotel in Melbourne. Hope you're not drinking too many alcoholic beverages. So here we go. Australia in midfield. Another one of these general melees where it just needs one player to do something a little bit extra skillful. We've seen that before. We've seen quite often the Australian men manage to sort of flick the puck through, see a gap, but Great Britain actually get the advantage here, push it down the left-hand side again. This is how they scored the first goal, and the puck's come into the middle. Oh, there's a great overlap down the middle, but Australia see that one clear. That was superb defending from the number 4 for Australia, Nick Young. He was all over that, and he needed to be, because it was a good move. Stuart Parkinson in the corner, but GB get the puck back. Nick Young certainly saved a goal there for Australia. There was a good move into the centre. GB timed their overlaps perfectly, and here's a chance. Battling away on the edge. It's a battle of strength there now. The puck comes clear, and we're going to see a call up. No, that was the other court. Apologies. And Australia come away now. I've just been commentating on the other court, so I'm so used to that buzzer. And Australia now coming away. Here's number 1, Tom Miller. Australia pushing it down the left-hand side. A real scrap going on down there. GB have got men back though. Plenty of numbers back at the moment. On the open side. And we're going to have a call. Referee's calling. Let's see what decision that goes. That goes GB's way. Illegal handling of the puck. Stopping it with the hand or the arm. And GB will get some momentum forward. Well, hats off to the GB team here. They're making a fight of this. Certainly their heads were down when they were 2-0 down, but now 4 minutes to go in the first half. And you've got to remember the Australians had an absolutely almighty battle with the French. I don't know how they managed to keep the energy supplies going in the Aussie team. The French are a very strong team indeed. Australia move it down the left-hand side, flick it into the middle. Oh, it's stolen there. And we're going to see come to the top. I've got a feeling this will go Australia's way. Yep, illegal use of the elbow, and Australia get the free. Well, we've had quite amazing. We had one. I've just looked at some of the stats this morning. 1.2 million minutes of underwater hockey has been watched all around the world of just the first 6 days, and of course there's a lot more to come. So it's amazing to see that basically everybody who's into underwater hockey is watching this action here from Eiger in Hungary, and brilliant to see how the quality and how the pictures look so good. And Great Britain moved across into the centre, but it's cut off by Australia. Here's an opportunity. Looking, oh, they've got the extra man in there. It must be a goal for Australia. Oh, it's a goal for Australia. Well played indeed. And Great Britain are caught out there. Great Britain were trying to make a move from the centre up the left-hand side. It was Nick Young who scored the goal, but Australia cut it off, and then the British swimmers were basically, the British athletes were caught ahead of the puck, and they didn't have anybody behind. There was only the goalkeeper who was behind, or the fullback, if we're going to talk Australian for a second. It was only the fullback there, and it was suddenly a 2-on-1, and Australia just made easy meat of that one. And the 2-goal margin is back, and here's Australia again. We're going to get called to the surface. James Rossiter there moving away with the puck, but it will go GB's. And a bit of chopping there on a GB arm as he came in. Over on court 2, the women's 3rd-4th match. South Africa beating Australia 1-0 in that match. Australia giving the GB women's team a real hard match in that semi-final. The semis have been absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed them all. And in fact, the only thing I think I would like to try and change for next time is that they're all played one after another, so we can enjoy them all properly instead of playing them at the same time. It's a shame also that some of the finals have been played at the same time here, so we've got finals on courts 1 and 2. But they'll all be on YouTube, and you can watch them all happily together. GB flick the puck inside. Here's a chance at GB. Oh, but it's brilliantly defended by Australia, but we may get a call from the official. No, we haven't. I thought I saw an arm going up there, but here's Australia working away. There's a great break on here for Australia. GB are pushing back. Oh, what a goal for Australia from goalmouth to goalmouth. What brilliant goal there. That looked like... I thought there was going to be a penalty called there for GB on the other end, but Nick Young defended it. Not only did he defend it, he swam at the other end and he put it in the tray. Australia lead 4-1 with less than a minute to go in the first half. What a goal that was to Nick Young. And we're going to have a timeout called by Australia here, just to have a little breather and maybe gloat a little bit about that goal. Maybe Nick Young needs a little rest. I see James Rossiter was heavily involved as well in that defence move. He gets a tap on the back from Jason Meeses. Well, I think that's pretty much going to be game over now. Can't see GB managing to score 3 goals past the Aussies. Well, I hope you're enjoying this wherever you are. There is a live chat room, but I'm afraid we'll probably something else we'll do different next time. We'll have a live chat room next to the actual player, so you can watch, you can chat while you're watching. But there is a live chat room that's on the live.cmas.org site. So if you are around, you want to get on, do chat there. But we'll certainly get that sorted for next time out, because it was so brilliant before to have so many people chatting. We've got about 500-600 watching this live. We have many thousands watching the replays. Of course, if you're watching a replay, that live chat room will be empty for sure. Australia leading 4-1 here and have been pretty dominant. And that breakaway goal from Nick Young, such a big difference. I thought we were going to have a penalty for GB, and the difference between 4-1 and 2-3, pretty massive, isn't it? And just to rub salt into the wounds, Young went from end to end, and Australia are just going to hold this up in the corner now and will take us to half time. GB just break away, but the time will run us out. And here we go, that's half time in the men's elite. Australia lead 4-1. And if our director can give us a summary, oh, perfect timing. Blake Sutcliffe scoring at 150, Luke Rector at 420. And then Nick Young getting 2 goals there. Late on, there was a goal from Anthony Bailey at 7:53 to pull it back to 2-1. But Australia have just moved away, and they do look the class act in this match, don't they? They gave France the scare of their lives in the semi-final. It looks as if they've re-energised well, and they're all ready for the second half. We'll have the penalties in a second. Yeah, agree, no penalties. Didn't think there was any. Well, thanks to all our sponsors here who've made this event possible. And of course, without the sponsors, nobody pays us to come here. We do get paid for doing this. We are professionals, you know. And so thank you to all these companies here for making it possible. BTEL, who provided a good internet line. We only had one issue with them yesterday, so a little slap on the wrist, but they've been absolutely brilliant, and they sorted out the issue very quickly. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/247.tv. That's the place to be. We're going to load up all the underwater hockey videos, and we're going to load up HD videos for the finals from today on Court 1. Right, there's the advertising break gun. I'll play my little advertising jingle. And we're getting ready for the second half now. 1 minute to go. second half. GB crowd, there's a fair few GB members here. They've been playing a few third, fourth matches already. We've got 3 GB teams with bronze medals. So there's already quite a few in the arena. They're trying to G up their GB team. I think it's going to need a little bit more than the crowd to get behind them and try and be a 7th man in the pool. Australia could just try and close this down, but it's not the way they do it down under. I was having a little chat with the New Zealand manager earlier on, and just discussing the match, the round robin match they had when New Zealand were 4-2 up with 9 minutes to play. And I said, well, you know, if France had been 4-2 up, I'm sure they'd have closed the match against the wall for 9 minutes. And his answer was, well, that's not the way underwater hockey should be played. I totally agree. And I don't think the Aussies are going to be tying this one up. They want to score more goals. They'll be looking for 5, 6, 7, and they're already making. GB are making a strong move here on the left-hand side. GB obviously will be thinking that they've got to score early here. They've got to get a shot on goal. Early on. And we'll come to the surface. And that's going to go GB's way. So 13 minutes to go. I do realise I made a mistake in one of my earlier commentaries yesterday. I was talking about halves of 20 minutes, as if they're not swimming enough at 15 minutes each. So here we go, GB pushing hard into the water. Everybody's on the floor. There's just one Australian, one GB in the air. GB come up for air and come in for the second attack, and they might get in here. There's one Australian. Oh, that's nicely moved away. The Australian there, Stuart Parkinson, in the end came away with it, and Young was in there as well, and so was Luke Rector. Luke Rector passes it back inside. Young was supporting him, and Jack Robert Tissot in on the action there. So Australia move it nicely into midfield very quickly, but GB have got men down. And GB push it hard down the left-hand side, and there's an overlap on the inside here, 2-on-1. Australia have to back pedal. And the one player just holds up the puck enough. You know, that's the basic tactic of this game. If you're outnumbered, just hold the puck up for an extra second or two. Allow your teammates to get behind you and recover. And I think it was the number 8 for Australia there, Gavin Wise, who managed to do that pretty well. Allowed his teammates just to get back. Looks like it's an equal puck, I think, there underwater, actually. Looked like everybody was around it, and one of these midfield melees where the puck, it's almost like a pinball table at times. See where the puck goes. Can it pop out in one direction? Big midfield battle. Just needs one player to show an exceptional piece of skill, and that one player is an Australian. Oh, he's gone past 3 or 4, passes it on. And GB managed to get back in time. Oh, that was tremendous play. Unfortunately, I can't give him a name check. We're not going to show it. Take it away. We're not showing it. No, later. Not now. Later. Please. Later. Not now, later. So Australia pushing it down. Unfortunately, we seem to have somebody trying to advertise something on one of our cameras, quite unusually. Australia moving up the left-hand wall into the sunlight, and there's a pass inside. That's a beautiful end goal. Oh, that's great defence. So Australia leading 5-1. Sorry, we've been waylaid here because we have a Colombian who's decided to try and hijack our broadcast, and he's trying to put advertising in front of our cameras. Can you believe? Well, our security guard has done a good job, and I think he's going to he's possibly going to go to court 2 in a second. So maybe our director maybe needs to let court 2 be aware that camera 4 may be hijacked. Apologies, I missed the goal there. This is the trouble, that we get these things happening. Oh, it's all fun and games here, isn't it? Well, I suppose the Colombians tournament is over now, so they can try and cause a little bit of chaos around the place. And Australia leading 5-1. This match is pretty much over here, isn't it? GB are playing for pride. Can they get a couple of goals and salvage a little bit more pride out of it? Having said that, you're in a 3rd, 4th place playoff. If you're the 4th best team in the world, there's no disgrace to that. GB have put in some very strong performances here in this tournament, and Australia are a very strong outfit. Well, that's a free to Australia. In fact, we're going to have I think we'll have a rest time out here because there's been a change of decision. In fact, Rob Price there, who's our dry side referee, that's been overruled, and it's going to go GB's way. So they don't have a referee's timeout. The central referee got a much clearer view, and they decide that GB get the puck. Moving up into the corner, Australia will just be happy to hold it there. 8 minutes to go. South Africa beating Australia in the women's elite semi-final 3-1 over on court 2. It's a good result for the South Africans there. Australia looked very strong in the women's semi-final. Got 2 cracking finals coming up here. Really looking forward to those. GB trying to move it in along the back wall. And we're going to have a decision that's going to go Australia's way. But it's pretty much put a downer on this match, to be honest. 5-1 with 8 minutes to go. The result is pretty clear. And now it's just to see, you've got 8 minutes in the water. Can you make a name for yourself, anybody? Can we see some individual piece of brilliance from any of the players here? The Australians seem to have some real good hockey skills with the stick. We've seen some lovely manoeuvres. There's another one. Just takes on his British opponent on a one-on-one, and that's where the Aussies have come good from times. So GB are following in nicely there, and we will go to the surface. All the results and schedules are on our website, of course. It's finals from here on in. It's the under-19 men's and women's finals coming up. We are planning commentary on both courts. Mr. Nathan Peel of Great Britain is in the building. I think allows a team warning going across the board to Australia here. So we haven't seen a sin bin yet, but with 8 minutes to go, it's pretty likely we're going to see a few sin bins here, and this could be a little chance for Great Britain to get a couple of goals on the board. On court 1, we've got in the 19s, we've got New Zealand versus Colombia in the under-19 men's, and it's New Zealand, Colombia in the under-19 women's as well. So Colombia have got some real good youngsters coming through. Australia and GB battling hard in the corner, waiting for the decision. Obstruction, and it's the GB man. Well, GB didn't get the team warning, but they've got the first man in the sin bin for an obstruction. And the number 11 there goes and dries off for just a minute, I think. That's Ali Monteith. Hope you are enjoying all this coverage here. We're always happy to receive feedback. We've got plenty of ideas what we're going to do at the next event, and In fact, we would have had one of them here at this event, but unfortunately we did have a flooding incident on day 0, so our zoom ability from our central camera isn't actually there. This sun is actually causing quite a few issues for us. Oh, and Australia, well, while they got the power play, that looked too simple. The puck stopped. I really thought it was off to the corner. We had that sort of delay in play, really, that suggests the puck's going into the corner and everybody's happy to rotate. And then suddenly the puck came back into the centre. And Nick Young was there to put it in. A pretty similar goal to what we saw a little bit earlier when Young scored also. And, well, that power play, very quickly converted there. And now Australia leads 6-1. Nice to see it on our scoreboard. They've put a lovely picture of a koala up on the big scoreboard here. Make the Aussies feel at home. We do have Australia on both courts at the moment. GB drive the puck towards the wall. Lovely turn inside. Takes on an Australian player, but he's got 2 more waiting for him. And Australia know that this match is won now. Definitely a little drop in the pace of the match. I think both teams have settled that this result is beyond redemption. And a little bit of chopping there, and that will go Australia's way. 4 minutes to go on the clock. You definitely sense that the pace has just dropped a little bit here, don't you? That move along the wall, there was only 2 players on the floor any one time. And maybe the teams are thinking about what kind of beer they're going to be having in the bar tonight. Australia look to push it through, flick up in the air. And handling, stopping the puck with the hand, it will go GB's way. Well, it was a cracking atmosphere here this morning. It was a really, really good setup. GB looked to try and score a consolation goal here. Come to the surface. That's going to go GB's. No, it's going to go Australia's way for an unsportsmanlike. And we're having 2 minutes for the number 10 for GB, Scott Allen, for an unsportsmanlike conduct, which is one of those generic, could be anything, possibly flicking the puck up into somebody's face or tender regions, we shall say. So 2.5 minutes. Australia looking to score, make it 7, and there's a breakaway here. 1 GB athlete back covering. The puck has been delayed, but there's an Aussie in the middle. Has to go to the surface, and the puck goes out into the corner. Hopefully this sun will be well out the way by the time we get some of the later finals. It's always been a problem for us all week during this time of the day. It does get a little bit better later on once the sun's cleared. And of course the lights haven't been turned on. We have this battle every day. Less than a minute to go. Australia looking for goal number 7 here. And I think they've got it. Yeah, just overrunning the GB team. Pretty similar to goal number 1 and 2 actually. Just sheer force, sheer muscle there from the Australians. And it's 7-1 with 30 seconds to go, and this match is going to be over. Comprehensive victory for Australia here. They'll be disappointed. They wanted to be retaining their world title. It was a massive match. Jack Robert Tissot scoring there. It was an absolutely massive match last night against France. Could have gone either way. France won it 2-1 in extra time in the end. And well, the Aussies have shown here that they are a class team, but it's just going to be the bronze for them. The match is over. Australia take the bronze in the men's elite with a comprehensive victory over GB. And in the women's elite, just looking over on court 2, a tremendous victory for South Africa, beating Australia 4-1 in the women's. That is a shock result. Certainly Australia were fancied to take that match, and the South African women's have absolutely romped over the Australians there. Maybe the Australians just feeling the wear and tear. They had a really tough match against the GB world champions yesterday and pushed them all away, and possibly there was a few tied legs in the water from Australia. But congratulations to South Africa over on court 2, and congratulations to the team you see on camera there. Australia have taken the bronze in the men's elite, and now we're down to finals from here on in. It's all finals all the way. New Zealand against Colombia in both pools coming up. Thanks for watching. See you shortly.